you are an American Horror Story. If you enjoy scary stories and supernatural mysteries, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Every week there's a new chilling tale to keep you awake at night. Now, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and get ready. Sarah Miller was the type of woman many would call a warrior. At 32, she taught young children at a public school in Milwaukee while raising her 2-year-old son, Noah, alone. After a turbulent marriage marked by betrayals and emotional exhaustion, she finally mustered the courage to separate. With the divorce still recent and few resources, she decided to leave the old apartment and start over from scratch. Not knowing exactly where to settle, she temporarily rented a simple room in an old hotel downtown. It was a building with a classic facade, dark furniture, and carpets worn by time. The price was affordable, and the place seemed quiet enough. That was enough for Sarah at that moment. Room 203 was at the end of a silent hallway. Despite its outdated appearance, it was clean and spacious enough for her and little Noah. Sarah believed this would be just a brief transition, a pause before rebuilding her life. But what she didn't imagine was that this room carried its own scars. On the first night, everything seemed normal. She put Noah to sleep in the portable crib, positioned the baby monitor on the dresser, and lay down on the bed, exhausted. The silence of the hotel was almost comforting, until around 3 a.m. when Noah started to cry. The clock read exactly 3:12. Half asleep, Sarah got up, picked up her son, and noticed something strange. The baby monitor screen was frozen, like a static photo of the room, even though she was already out of frame. Thinking it was a malfunction, she tried restarting the device. That's when the audio returned, and along with it, a drawn-out, repetitive whisper, "I don't want to fall again." Sarah froze. The image returned to normal, but the voice was too real. Scared, she turned off the device and held Noah tightly. She tried to convince herself it was exhaustion, some kind of interference, but that phrase wouldn't leave her head. On the second night, she followed a routine. Bath, light dinner, a calm song on her cell phone, the bedside lamp on, but the atmosphere felt colder. Around 2 a.m, Noah started to whimper. Before she could get up, she heard a dry crack. The old wardrobe in the room opened by itself, its doors creaking slowly. Noah stopped crying and pointed with a trembling finger. "Mommy, the sad lady is there." Sarah froze. Her son's voice wasn't one of fear, but of deep sadness. She approached the closet slowly, her heart pounding. Nothing inside. No sign of wind, forced entry, nothing. From that night on, she started recording the room with her cell phone. She left the device on the nightstand, recording everything. And one of the following mornings, listening to the audios, she almost dropped her phone. A muffled voice, identical to the one from the baby monitor, whispered. She slipped again. It was as if that presence was reliving a trauma, night after night, feeling increasingly cornered. Sarah mustered the courage to ask the hotel receptionist, a woman named Mrs. Turner, about room 203. The woman became visibly uncomfortable. After hesitating, she replied in a low voice. Many years ago, a young woman named Emily jumped from the window of that room. Some say it was an accident, others that it was something worse. Since then, guests have reported strange things, voices, movements, crying. Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine. Everything made sense. The whispers, Noah's behavior, the recording, the sadness in the atmosphere. Emily hadn't left. She was still there, trapped somehow. The next morning, Sarah asked to change rooms. The receptionist simply nodded, as if she had been expecting it. She was moved to floor above, and for the first time in days, she managed to sleep. Noah, too. The recording showed nothing strange anymore. The closet didn't creak. The baby monitor worked normally. Sarah thought that maybe it had all been in her head. But on the day of her departure, while closing her suitcases, she saw a new guest arriving, a visibly tired young woman with a lost look in her eyes, her body hunched over by the weight of something Sarah knew well. The woman turned to the receptionist and said, "I'm exhausted. I couldn't sleep last night." She came back again. The woman in the wardrobe, Sarah felt her blood run cold. The cycle was starting again. Room 203 wasn't just another room. It held something. An old dark wood wardrobe that looked normal until it opened on its own. That held voices and stories that repeated themselves. Emily's spirit was still there, trapped between the walls of that old hotel. And even though Sarah and Noah had left, others would come, and they would hear the same voice. She slipped again, and that was another chilling story here on American Horror Story. If you got that shiver down your spine, or are going to take a peek in the closet before going to sleep, then my work is done. But before you run to your room turning on all the lights in the house, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel, because we have a warm and haunted bed waiting for you here every week. And of course, leave a like, otherwise the woman in the wardrobe might want to chat with you tonight. Comment down below, would you sleep in room 203? Or would you ask for another one right away? See you in the next video, if the baby monitor allows. Until then, sleep well, if you can.